Hi, IndoPacificNavigators. My name is Isabella Veronica Silalahi, and I am a communications practitioner at US8 ASEAN Policy Implementation, and also the regional leader of Girl Up Indonesia, part of the Girl Up campaign from the United Nations Foundations. I'm here to talk about the current situation of what my community has been doing in Indonesia to advance gender equality here. I think first and foremost, what we all must understand is that no country is going through the same gender equality issue the same. And we're all trying to understand also what the community here is facing, as much as we try to tailor it to the policies and the programs that is in place. I think a very important lesson that my community have received from building Girl Up Indonesia ever since April 2019 is that you must continue to put the community at the center of your policy and of your programming. Let them be the driver. You're supervising them, but at the same time having that conversation really does take time. So before I guess we move further from me talking specifically about the gender issue that is currently happening in Indonesia, I will give a brief information or background regarding what Girl Up Indonesia is all about and what we stand for and how and why my team and I decided to bring Girl Up to Indonesia. So Girl Up campaign started at the United States as a part of the United Nations Foundation campaign to foster gender equality for young girls from ages 15 till 24. So our niche market are adolescent young girls. And specifically, the issues that we work towards can range from leadership, education, political and socio-economical, and also reproductive health rights. So they gave us the flexibility to look and tap into these four different pillars and issues, and also create programming that suits the adolescent girls that is here in Indonesia. So our hope, when my team and I, a group of five girls, five of us, coming from different backgrounds. Two of us graduated from the United States, from Columbia, and myself from George Washington University. And another one is a music artist and working in the music and the entertainment industry. And the remaining two are working as corporate business professionals here, also based in Jakarta. So we decided that all of us are passionate about the issue of fostering women empowerment, building their confidence, and we hope that we can also attract different groups and ranges of girls coming from different backgrounds. So what started as sort of like this hopeful community that we're hoping we're going to meet someone probably like-minded actually turned out to be pretty amazing. We got a lot of responses starting from May 2019 up until June 2019 of young girls coming from rural areas, most predominantly in Central Java, in East Java, in Surabaya, in Bandung, and Yogyakarta, to start their own Girl Up community in their campus and actually work towards fundraising and tapping more into issues that are currently in their campus. And so that prompted our regional team, the five of us, to look and research into further what are the gender issues that are happening in campuses around Indonesia. We realized that 1 out of 3 individuals actually, and especially women, experience sexual harassment a lot in their campus grounds, or have been verbally, physically, emotionally, and sexually abused in their lifetimes. So that became a wake-up call, because that was exactly what drives apparently a lot of these girls to start their Girl Up community or their Girl Up clubs. It's the issue that they didn't feel safe in the place that they are operating the most. They didn't feel like they have not only a voice, but they're afraid to speak out because of who they are. And no matter, and again, this issue is very important and very wide range, because Indonesia itself is reported by the International Labor Organization, our capital city Jakarta, as the number 9th most dangerous city in the world for women, because women here experience sexual harassment and violence on a daily basis, whether it be in public spaces or in private spaces. That is a wake-up call of a data and an alarming statistic, especially for a diverse country like Indonesia. So exactly, we talked with the girls on a daily basis regarding, how do you think you best address this issue? What kind of topics do you want to understand more? And also, most likely, what are some of the ways that you think you can diminish or even contribute towards ending sexual violence and harassment? Now, a lot of these girls already know the community that they are operating at. So we're here to also make sure that they are inclusive, that their messaging pulls through, and they also have the confidence to become sort of like the leaders of, ending sexual harassment and violence in their campus. And we realize that a lot of also the sexual violence and harassment discussions are related to this second issue, which we are closely working at, which is not only gender-based violence, but reproductive health rights. The autonomy of a woman's body is something that is still very, very bleak in a lot of places and areas in Indonesia. That women are not accountable to have autonomy of their own body, of their own choices, and how they choose to live their lives. A lot of the women that I talk to, sometimes their problems goes basic, as in, I don't really want to get married at this young age. I still have things that I want to do, but sometimes the structural inequalities that they are placed into, be it their family, and then be it their socioeconomic status, be it their inability to continue their education, and financial constraints and restraints, makes them more prone for gender-based violence and these sorts of injustices. Now, that is something that I think is very taboo, because when we start to actually correlate the sort of like connections between gender-based violence on one end and then reproductive health rights, you got like two of the most taboo topics, especially in Indonesia, where religion is still a major factor. We're still living in a more of a conservative culture, and the idea of feminism being such a Western construct is something that is not really heavily applicable yet in Indonesia. So we are learning to navigate the taboo topics here, especially with gender equality, and something that is also creating like the safe space for them to actually talk freely about this, And what my team and I realize is that we have to be very specific on what kind of issues, specifically in reproductive health rights, we want to do. And in Central Java, last year we managed to actually started a fundraising for menstrual products. And along with that menstrual products, we also provide menstrual trainings from trained midwives actually, and nurses around the area to go to schools and teach a bunch of 9th graders, 10th graders, and 11th graders about menstruation. A lot of them have to do with, I guess, this ability to break in the taboo topics and the taboo issues, because your health rights, menstrual health rights, and your reproductive health rights is still human rights, right? And that is something that you shouldn't be ashamed to talk about, because it can literally save your life if the more you know about it. And a lot of sometimes the topics that we're talking about here are centered around abstaining from sexual engaging from your sexual encounters, and it's always like abstinence only type of education, and that's something that is also against human rights, because the United Nations has their own documents, specifically from UNFPA, about the 7 criteria of what makes a comprehensive sexual education for young adolescent women, girls, and boys to know. And you can't teach A and retract B. And that's something that we try to fight for here in Grow Up Indonesia, is to provide a holistic and inclusive space and information for everyone to speak about their rights, not especially when it comes to their body, because you only have one body, right? And you shouldn't, I guess you should be able to express whatever you are, whatever you like, and whatever you want to be. And it's not easy, but progress is still an option. That's something I always teach my young girls, is that progress is still an option. Keeps on reminding that as you move forward towards every programs, because talking about gender equality is not an easy thing. I think that those are the 2 things that we're working. So I told you guys about Girl Up Indonesia, the issues that we're speaking about, which is sexual violence and harassment and reproductive health rights. And the final hope is, I guess, the future and the challenges, or and the future that we want Girl Up Indonesia to move forward. Well, my hope for young girls everywhere, actually, not only in Indonesia, but also in the Asia Pacific, and through this program in Indo-Pacific Navigators, is to know your worth. Know your worth as not only a girl, but as an individual, whatever your pronouns may be, she or he, they. Know your worth as an individual and know your role in society. You don't have to be someone of power or fortune or a certain title to have an impact in someone else's life. Your impact can be whatever small and whatever it may be, as long as it is meaningful. Find your passion, and also listen. Listen a lot. Be open to listen to people who are not coming from the same background as you. Engage in that intercultural and intergenerational communication, and also interfaith, because from there on you learn to be grounded, and not only learn to be grounded, but you also learn that sometimes, no matter where we came from, our similarities and our hope might be more similar than our differences. So I hope you guys have a great program, and I do wish everyone from all over the world, from the Indo and the Pacific, the best. Keep in touch, stay healthy, stay safe, and thank you for this opportunity. Bye, guys.